Take a moment to hold something in your hand, like your phone. Clearly, you can feel its weight, its texture. You can see it and others can see it. Now, close your eyes and bring whatever you're holding to mind. Can you see the mental image? Yes. Can anyone else see that mental image? No. That's because your idea space, or your mind, is unique to yours, an inner world invisible to everyone else. Overall, your idea space is a physics-based model for the mind. It is uncountable, or infinitely deep, and has zero measure, which means it cannot be quantified or observed in a traditional way. But why is the idea space important in the first place? The idea space is crucial because it bridges the gap between your subjective experience and the external universe. While we navigate physical space by interacting with objects, we also navigate an internal space. This inner world directly influences how we perceive and interact with everything around us, making it as important as the physical realm. In essence, the idea space shapes not just your personal experience, but also the shared realities of the world. Concepts like words, money, social norms, and even companies and governments. These shared realities exist because our personal idea spaces interact and mix to create macro idea spaces. So, understanding your idea space is the first step towards understanding the nature of your reality and the universe at large. So, what is an idea space? Before we dive deeper into the concept, I want to mention that if you're interested, then I've prepared a white paper that delves into the mathematical and physical foundations of the idea space. You can find a link to the white paper in the description below. In mathematics, a space is defined by sets and their properties. Your idea space is a topological space that holds elements of your mind, including thoughts, emotions, sensations, and perceptions, and the null set, or empty set, which is the absence of any thought or emotion. Unlike physical space, the idea space has no physical measure or zero measure. It cannot be weighed or quantified, and it has no direct effect on space-time, but it still profoundly shapes how we live our lives. It is the most personal and real space you inhabit, where everything you experience unfolds. Although invisible to others, it forms the lens through which you perceive the universe. Your idea space is uncountable, which means it's infinitely deep and in a constant state of flux. In set theory, an element is a member of a set. In your idea space, the elements are your thoughts, emotions, sensations, and perceptions. There is also the null set, or the empty set, which represents the absence of any particular thought or emotion, a state of pure awareness. These elements are mental formations that serve very distinct functions. Thoughts include words, memories, pictures, songs, and daydreams. Emotions are feelings that range from pleasant to unpleasant and everything in between. Sensations consist of the classical five: touch, sight, sound, taste, and smell. And perception involves your ability to recognize objects, knowing a pen is a pen or a phone is a phone. These elements combine with the null set to create your idea space. The null set allows your idea space to be empty yet still present. For instance, picture a table describing apples. The table can have different values describing it, like the color red. But some entries in the table may be left blank. That's the empty set. It doesn't mean that the apple has no color, it just means there's nothing there. Something similar happens in your idea space. The null set within your idea space is a space of pure awareness without specific content, also known as beginner's mind. And as Shunryu Suzuki writes in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are a few. In traditional physics, which belongs to the science of objects, we measure things, distances, velocities, and energies. But your idea space has zero measure. This means that while it exists for you, it doesn't have a measurable presence in physical space. It's there, yet invisible to others. It doesn't directly affect space-time, yet it shapes how you perceive reality. Perhaps in the future, we'll figure out how to overcome this with technology, computing, or Neuralink. But until then, we must rely on different tools. Because of this, studying the mind requires a completely different approach, a science of the first person. Unlike physical objects, thoughts and emotions cannot be trivially measured with tools like timers and sensors, but they are no less real. Through introspective practices such as Zen, Stoicism, and philosophical inquiry, we gain access to the vast, unmeasurable depth of our inner world. In mathematics, some sets are countable, like the sets of whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, while other sets are uncountable, like the set of real numbers. Think of a giant number line. Just as some mathematical sets are uncountable, your idea space is also uncountable. The thoughts and sensations within your mind are infinite in their variety and depth. You cannot count or fully catalog everything that's happening in your idea space at any given moment. This uncountability is akin to impermanence, a concept that everything is in a constant state of flux. As the philosopher Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps into the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he is not the same man." We can also categorize knowledge within our idea space using a framework of knowns and unknowns. Known knowns are things you know, like the Earth orbits the sun or fire is hot. Known unknowns are things only you know and no one else, such as what color underwear you're wearing right now. Hopefully you and only you know this. Unknown knowns are things discovered by others but not yet known to you. Oftentimes, these are usually represented by a variable like x. For instance, what is the exact value of Earth's gravitational acceleration? It is commonly known as g and is around 9.81 meters per second squared. Unknown unknowns are the most fascinating category. Things you don't even know you don't know. The mysteries yet to enter your awareness. For example, imagine living before 1687, before Isaac Newton introduced the concept of gravity. Gravity was an unknown unknown at the time. It didn't exist in anyone's idea space until it was discovered. Similarly, the idea space itself may have been an unknown unknown before this very moment. When an unknown unknown enters your idea space, it's like lifting a veil of illusion, leading to a moment of enlightenment. This is crucial in achieving an awakened mind, where one perceives what reality isn't. The word koan is Japanese for public case and serves as a tool for achieving enlightenment. In mathematical terms, the identity element is a special element that, when combined with any other elements in a set, leaves it unchanged. For instance, adding 0 or multiplying by 1. In your idea space, a koan serves as an identity. It encapsulates a profound truth or essence without altering your fundamental understanding, but actually enhancing it. A koan can be a phrase, story, question, song, or statement that captures the pure essence of a moment in space and time, and is represented by this special bubble here. For instance, a classic Zen koan is, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" This koan doesn't offer a direct answer. Instead, it invites contemplation, offering a moment of non-verbal understanding. Koans help shape the large-scale structure of your idea space, acting as markers that refine your principles and deepen your understanding of the world around you. For another example, consider Heraclitus' saying, "No man ever steps into the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he is not the same man." This quote serves as a koan for the concept of impermanence, as it perfectly captures its definition. There are two types of idea spaces. A personal idea space is your individual idea space you're living right now, filled with your own thoughts and emotions. A macro idea space occurs when personal idea spaces interact or mix, and this can be through conversations, shared experiences, or just collective beliefs. These macro idea spaces create the shared realities of our world, like words, money, social norms, laws, governments, religion, and even scientific theories. These concepts have no direct physical presence, but shape how we interact with the world so profoundly. For example, when words are spoken, they travel through the air, but have no physical form. Additionally, we cannot physically touch the United States, but it exists as a macro idea space or a collective consciousness formed by millions of minds. The power of these intangible realities shapes societies and influences our daily lives so profoundly, whether we like it or not. The Sunset Conjecture is the link between the science of objects and the science of the first person. It is twofold. First, everyone lives at the center of their own observable universe, a giant sphere centered on you where everything you see is in the past. When you look at the stars, you're seeing light that took millions of years to reach you. So you're not seeing what a star that's 4 million light years away looks like now, but rather what that same star looked like 4 million years ago. The second part of the conjecture is that at the center of your observable universe lies your idea space, a topological singularity of uncountable depth and zero measure hidden from the outside world. Your idea space is the unseen force shaping how you interact with the universe. It's where thoughts, emotions, sensations, and perceptions live in an unmeasurable and infinite part of you that, although invisible to everyone else, is the most real space you will ever know. Understanding it brings both clarity to your inner world and the external realities that shape society. And so, as we continue to explore the nature of the idea space, remember that mastering the science of the first person is as important as mastering the science of objects. Together, we'll dive deeper into concepts like the Sunset Conjecture, zero measure, and accountability, all to unlock new ways to think about yourself and the universe at large. So, if you want to keep exploring these topics with me, then make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and the notification bell so you won't miss the next video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.